Hey you! At the beginning of the 20th century, Argentina was one of the richest nations on the planet. 100 years later, the country is about to declare national bankruptcy. What happened? Let's find out. Before we start, I need your help. I already published a few videos, which are the first that I have ever made, and I'm still learning a lot about editing, voice recording, and how I can present these topics to give you better content. If you're interested in economics and economic history, please subscribe to my channel, leave a like, give me some love in the comments, share this video, and also let me know in the comments below what other topics I should cover for you in upcoming videos. With that out of the way, let's go back to the video. In late 2001, the people of Argentina had to face a national but even more severe and personal tragedy. The country is highly in debt and not able to pay back its credits. Those who can transfer their money into safe bank accounts abroad. The government implemented the so-called corralito. Every citizen was just allowed to take around 1,000 peso a month from his account. The rest was frozen and in dollar invested money transferred into Argentinian peso. The result? Many Argentinians lost all their savings. They started going to the streets, protesting with pans and wooden spoons, making noise to give their anger a voice. I remember these images from the news. I was not even a teenager and I was not even understanding the world and what was going on in the world. And I was just slowly getting interested in what's happening. But this I still remember today. It was that impressive on me. On the 18th of December 2001, the President Fernando de la Rúa declared the state of emergency, trying to put down the protest with force, trying to strip the people from their right to protest. The situation escalated and ended in violent confrontations between the police and the protesters, and multiple people died. On the 22nd of December, President Rúa flew with a helicopter from the presidential compound. The people deprived the government of its power. 100 years earlier, was it quite common in Europe to refer to someone as rich as an Argentinian? Argentina was, after the First World War, one of the most important importers of food in Europe. Argentina focused heavily on agricultural products and missed to diversify its economy. During the global crisis of 1929, the country was hit hard as the exports and the prices for raw materials were plummeting. Tension between the rich and the poor of Argentinian society dominated the 30s of the previous century. Juan Domingo Perón, president from 1946 until 1955, was able to bring a little bit more of peace, but with the cost of huge social programs. The start of the national debt of Argentina. The debt wasn't reduced under the following governments, and the military dictatorship from 1976 until 1983 was even worsening the situation. The import of consumer goods was pressuring the local economy, and many Argentinian companies had to file for bankruptcy. The local economy was underdeveloped. The next democratic president, Raúl Alfonsín, received from the military regime a country which had a tremendous debt had a broken economy. And during his time as a president, the annual average of inflation was about 300%. And even the international community didn't want to give any credits. In 1989, the country was not able to pay back its credits, and Alfonsín stepped back as a president. After Alfonsín followed Carlos Menem, who promised the people of Argentina soon to belong to the First World. Under his leadership, most of the companies owned by the government were privatized. To fight the high inflation rate, the exchange rate of the peso was fixed to the dollar in a ratio of 1:1. And it seemed to help. Buenos Aires became one of the most expensive cities worldwide, and the Argentinians richer than most of the other Latin Americans. People started doing vacations, going abroad, and bought luxury items. With the privatization, but also with lowering the import taxes, many foreign direct investments came to Argentina, and for half a decade, the average growth of the economy in Argentina was at strong 8%. After the re-election of Menem in 1995, the dream of continuous growth stopped. Due to the previous privatization, the income from the companies did not go to the government, but abroad. Also, the foreign direct investment decreased slowly. By the end of the 90s, the price for soya and wheat also collapsed on the global market, and Argentina earned less and less money with the exportation of their agricultural goods. Argentina wasn't able to pay back credits in time, and for new credits, the interest rates got higher and higher. Fernando de la Rúa finally took over, a corrupt country with a crippled economy and too many debt. As the people knew about the situation, they started to save their money at home, or already changing it to the US dollar. The banking sector collapsed, and as mentioned at the beginning, the accounts were frozen. In January 2002, Eduardo Duhalde declared the national bankruptcy and lifted the fixed exchange rate from the peso to the dollar. Slowly, Argentina was fighting themselves out of this crisis. And Argentina products were cheap on the international market, which helped in this situation as the export was growing again. The next president, Nestor Kirchner, negotiated a debt cut with the international lenders, which helped Argentina out of the crisis of 2001. Anyways, the economic situation is still difficult, and even 20 years after the bankruptcy, old debts are still like a Damocles sword over Argentina. Have you been aware of the bankruptcy of Argentina and the economic situation in that country, and that they're still struggling after all this time from their past? What else do you know about Argentina besides its famous football players? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like and also watch my other videos. And I'll see you in the next one.